You ever get that feeling that something is just fundamentally wrong? Like the world isn't really working the way it's supposed to? Well, today, we're going to pull back that curtain and really dig into the hidden systems that might be pulling the strings behind it all. So let's kick this off with a really powerful quote from a CNN analysis. Now, they were talking about the rise in political violence, but they stumbled onto something way bigger. It's this idea that underneath all the noise, there's just a person who is completely and totally lost. So lost that doing something desperate actually starts to seem like a reasonable option. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because this feeling, it isn't just for a few people on the fringes. It's this widespread sense of being powerless, of just being a passenger in a system that feels like it's completely out of control. So what on earth is going on? So what does this feeling lost actually look like in the real world? Well, our sources are suggesting it's way more than just politics. It's a deep, deep crisis of meaning. See, when people feel like they're invisible, like they're totally disconnected, they'll do just about anything to feel seen. These aren't just random acts. They're symptoms of a system that is under a whole lot of strain. To really figure this out, we have to look past the symptoms. And this is where a fascinating thinker named Stafford Beer comes into the picture. He was a cybernetician, called himself a systems man, and he basically told everyone to just forget the old political labels, Marxist, capitalist, whatever. He believed the real problem was the system itself, no matter what flag it was flying. Now, Beer's entire life's work kind of revolves around this one core idea he called variety. It sounds scientific, but it's a really simple concept. It's the total number of choices and possibilities a person or a system has. For you and me, it's our freedom. It's our creativity. It's our human potential. It's all the infinite things we could be or do. And this chart right here, it just perfectly illustrates the fundamental battle that Beer saw at the heart of society. On one side, you've got us, the people. We have almost infinite variety, all our wild creativity, our freedom, our ability to do the completely unexpected. But on the other side, you've got the system. And for it to maintain control and stay stable, its main job is to reduce our variety. It needs us to be predictable. And here's the knockout punch, in Beer's own words. When the whole point of the system is to limit your choices, to box you in, to make you easier to manage, your potential just gets crushed, your spirit gets flattened, and the will of the people, it just evaporates in the process. That is the real source of that feeling of being powerless. Okay, but is this all just some abstract philosophical idea? Well, according to our sources, absolutely not. They argue this variety reduction is a very real, very active process. So let's take a look under the hood at the engine that drives it all, the powerful institutions that are shaping our reality, a lot of times in ways we don't even notice. Let's start with a big one, DARPA. That's the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. As the Y-Files points out, this is the group that's developing technology that's supposedly 20 years, 2 whole decades ahead of anything you or I can get our hands on. They are quite literally programming what our future is going to look like. And just look at the kind of stuff they're building. We're talking cyborg insects for spying, gene editing to create super soldiers, fully autonomous killer robots. This is not technology designed to expand what it means to be human. It's designed to control it, to reduce the number of possible outcomes on a battlefield and ultimately in our own society. As one source put it pretty bluntly, these things weren't made to improve lives, they were made to end them. But it actually goes even deeper than that. The system doesn't just create new tools for control. Sources claim it also works to actively crush ideas that could shake up the status quo, the kind of ideas that could dramatically increase our variety and our freedom. I mean, just look at this timeline. It's a pretty chilling pattern. Can you even imagine a world with cars that get 200 miles to the gallon? Or cars that literally run on water? Or a machine that could cure cancer using frequencies? Our sources claim these weren't just science fiction fantasies. No, they were real inventions, and the people behind them were systematically silenced, discredited, or worse. This is what variety reduction looks like when the rubber hits the road. And if you're thinking, well, that's just a few unlucky inventors, get a load of this number. The Federation of American Scientists calculated that in just 1 year, the government slapped secrecy orders on 5,135 new inventions. That's over 5,000 new ideas and possibilities that were considered too dangerous for us to even know about. So how does that even happen? Well, the tool they use is actually surprisingly straightforward: patent secrecy orders. When an inventor comes up with something truly game-changing, like say a new form of clean energy or a breakthrough in anti-gravity, the government can just step in and say, nope, threat to national security. And just like that, the invention is basically confiscated, its potential is locked away from the world, and another piece of our collective variety is just gone.
And of course, this pattern of control goes way beyond just technology. Sources point to a long, dark history of covert operations by agencies like the CIA. We're talking about overthrowing democratically elected governments, illegal mind control experiments on their own people, and targeting protest movements right here at home. Every single one of these actions is a direct attack on our political and social variety.
So let's bring it all back to Stafford Beer. What happens to us as a society when our choices are constantly being managed, manipulated, and even shut down behind the scenes? What happens when our variety is so controlled that we completely lose our bearings?
And this, right here, is the truly devastating conclusion. Beer argued that when our system is in a constant state of flux and crisis, we lose our stable point of reference. And without that solid ground to stand on, we can't learn, we can't grow, we can't run the little experiments of life that let us figure things out and move forward. We just end up lost.
So here's the final thought I want to leave you with. Stafford Beer's definition of a viable system was one that could sustain its own life, keep itself going. And the systems of control we've talked about, well, they're definitely powerful, and they work incredibly hard to keep themselves going. But the real question is, are they viable for us? Is the whole point to sustain human freedom and potential, or is it just to sustain their own power?